Yeah. Sorry,
Okay.
I just for me it's because I do a lot more kids rooms and playrooms. Um, the artwork is I like Karla. I normally choose local companies who do that. And the other ones are also artwork on the wall, so murals or even like decals that can be easily changeable.
Right.
Um, so those are some of the things that I recommend. But with kids rooms, we do want to put a lot of art in there too, because it definitely helps with brain development. And so part of that is just creating the art, like basically integrating artwork within the room, and whether it's a play space to help create that or not, but that can be on the wall as well for kids spaces.
Right. Okay. Cool.
So, okay, Joe, I want to go now to how you've taken your past work and incorporated it into design. We saw a little bit of it where you talked about, the artwork on walls with kids and how that helps a certain development and so forth. So I'm really interested to hear this side of things, because I know a lot of listeners have kids, and I'd love to hear that part.
Okay, sorry, you were just choppy a bit, so I don't know what's wrong with my connect.
You know what?
I think it's my kids. I'm always going to blame them.
Easiest thing to blame it on, isn't it?
Yes. Can you repeat that really quickly?
Yeah, I just said I really enjoyed the last segment of where you're talking about where you said artwork on the walls and how it makes, the certain brain development and so forth. And I'm just wondering about how certain, I don't know, functionalities of design work, of how you're creating these play spaces and certain aspects of your home help with your kids' development. And, I know you did a lot of segments on your Instagram about the PlayStation for your kids specifically, and how it helped, help them learn how to take things out by themselves and all these, little things. I won't take over, but.
Just so I guess people have a little background. I have 3 kids, and they're at all different developmental phases. So I have an 8-year-old, a 5-year-old, and I don't know, a 1.5, I think. And so they're
fun.
Yeah, the guy, I don't even know where he is most of the time. He's alive though, so that's good.
He's your third. That's what happens with the third.
He'll toe the line, right?
I love
he's
that.
the most brilliant. So I have three kids at completely different developmental phases, and this is where I have to also think about what their playroom is going to look like, right? So there needs to be an area for my oldest to actually do schoolwork, because that's eventually the playroom is going to be their study. And so when I think about these things, and when I walk into a client's home and they're wanting to create a playroom or use their family room, their existing family room as a playroom, or even the bedroom as well, I always help them. The first thing we do is we purge, and we kind of not Marie Kondo style, but really getting them to put things into 5 specific bins. And these 5 bins are based on play development. So you have 1 bin for sensory play. It doesn't have to be a bin. It could be a drawer. It doesn't matter. But these 5 specific categories, because it actually helps you realize what toys you really need and what toys you can do without. As long as you have these 5 categories, your child will learn to play with you. Then they'll learn to play by themselves. And the ultimate goal is for them to be able to learn to play with another child. So the 5 categories I always put together is 1, sensory or fine motor. So Play-Doh, arts and crafts, cutting, all that sorts of fun stuff. The second one is toy play or figurine play. So little figurines that you can move around, animals, anything that's like figurines that they can do role playing with sometimes. The third thing is pretend play. And so pretend play is usually things that like this cup can be a hat, this straw can be like a fishing rod. So an object that doesn't actually have its own the function, but you can pretend it to be something else. Functional play is usually something that is like a kitchen, fishing rod. So whatever the object is its function. And then good old gross motor and physical play. So things that can fit into 5 of those categories is all you need to really help that child become socially aware and build more social communication with games and all that stuff. So those are the 5 things that I always walk into when I help reorganize a playroom. And everything else, if it doesn't fit in the bin, it either goes into another bin for storage and rotation, or it's given to another kid for whatever reason.
Awesome. I
love that.
I know. I was like,
That's
am
impressive.
I too late with my kids doing this now?
When I was just thinking, I was like, I have failed.
I know.
But it took me 15 years of clinical work to really streamline this. Okay, it doesn't come naturally, but the reason why I help families kind of like organize these things into these bins, and then obviously you can subcategorize, right? If you're really wanting to build a system in to help organize the toys and all that stuff. But those 5 major categories really, really do help not only your child, but for you to understand, what is my child playing with? How is my child playing with this? And how are they going to grow socially while playing? So a lot of this then becomes imaginative play. The goal is actually to use one of these in each box and integrate it together. So you could be doing, if you're playing Play-Doh, you can make fake food. You can pretend that the Play-Doh is food and feed it to your figurines, you know, or and so like it can build off of that. And the goal actually really is, it doesn't matter what size playroom you have. Our playroom was our living room in the condo, and it worked really well because it allowed my husband and I to actually play with our kids too, as they're really, really little. And that's actually how they learned how to play on their own. Because if we don't model these play activities with them, there's no way they can absorb how to play these activities on their own. So if you want your child to be a little bit more independent in play, because you've got a Zoom call in the other room, then they've got to be able to access play activities that they can do on their own. So,
which comes to functional design of how you design it for them.
Leave all the stuff that they can do on their own low to the ground. The stuff that you don't want them to touch, like the sensory bin, goes up high.
Yes, exactly. The stuff that can get everywhere.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Now I'm gonna go home and I've got another job.
That's in a nutshell.
Yeah.
And you're gonna have to take over business now. I gotta do some sensory play. I gotta put things in 5 different bins to get them to play by themselves.